Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushua, Ba'Shem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. And Shalom to all the brothers doing the work, sincerity and truth, pushing the words to the four corners. This article on FSS from the Washington Post. This is what ransomware attacks are closing schools, delaying chemo, and derailing everyday life. So this is what it can feel abstract. A group of organized but faceless criminals hijacking corporate computer systems and demanding millions of dollars in exchange for their safe return. But the impact of these ransomware attacks is increasingly unavoidable, real for everyday people. These crimes have resulted in missed chemotherapy appointments and delayed ambulances, lost school days, and transportation problems. A ransomware attack on Colonial Pipeline in May led to gas shortages and even dangerous situations caused by panic buying. This past week, hackers compromised the JBS meat processing company, leading to worries about meat shortages on other key food providers being at risk. Last fall, the Baltimore County public school system was hit with ransomware and forced to halt classes for 2 days, which were being held virtually. As recently as Wednesday, ransomware attacks were causing problems across the country. In Martha's Vineyard, the ferry service transporting people to and from Massachusetts Island said it had been hit by a ransomware attack that disrupted its ticketing and reservation process. Ferries continued operating all week, but the ticketing system was still affected, causing delays on Friday. Yeah, so as it's funny because as soon as I saw like what was the first big one? First big one was Colonial Pipeline, like which that was well, it wasn't even when the first one happened. When the first one happened, well, it was really when they paid. When for like the Colonial Pipeline, they paid the money to get the systems back. From then I was thinking, I was like, yeah, people are just gonna start going completely rabid with hacking shit, and you've kind of seen the increase in it happening because I don't even remember. It used to, like, the most you used to see of like hacks would be like, okay, maybe like anonymous doing something, or like a really big group. But this one, I see, yeah, these ones seem to, and even then, them man weren't even like doing it ransomware where they were asking for money. It was mostly about like kind of exposing things. So it's like now that people have seen, oh, you can get mills from that. it's yeah, I'm expecting to see it to continue because that's what it seems like. So it says the recent spate of high-profile ransomware incidents is exactly what cybersecurity professionals have been warning about for years, but it's potentially the impact on everyday people, far from the executive suites, cybersecurity companies, or government agencies that regularly fret about the criminal enterprise that has been the risk more that has made the risk more visible. Yeah, because it's like for them going for like pipeline for energy and food first means like disrupting the everyday. There's cash money in that, like corporate espionage is like, well, that if you're disrupting the public, you're gonna get big money quick. That's what it seems like anyway. So hey, we'll see. Because even I'm thinking you're probably gonna get more amateurs kind of going for it, and them guys are likely to more likely to just get caught, or if they're doing it from like in the US to the US or something, they're more likely to get caught. Because like for the the JBS Meat one and the Colonial Pipeline. Them guys were meant to be Eastern Europe or Russia based, so they're really not in any kind of sphere of influence. From the US. So this is what it not only no, it's not only that it's getting worse, but it's the worst possible time for it to happen, said Robert Lee, chief executive of Dragos, an industrial cybersecurity firm. He says on average there are likely 20 to 30 big ransomware cases happening behind the scenes in addition to the ones making headlines. So yeah, it's likely that shit's being hit and you wouldn't even know. And that's the thing, it's like because it's like with warfare between, because it's mainly like Russia, between like Russia and the US. There's been conflict happening. It's just not like the war's already happened. The Third World War's already kicked off because they've basically been on the proxy side, mainly in like Syria, Iran. That's been the main areas where they've had their influence, even in South China Sea as well, where they've kind of been conflicting. And then it's what as well. It's the information based, like hacking and all these different things. Having the spies trying to get hold of intel to expose things. Like the warfare's been happening on that front. It's just not got to the point where you got Russian troops and US troops on the boots on the ground shooting each other with AKs and M16s. That's really like all that that's supposed to not occur yet. And that's the thing with these ransomware hacks, I think. Well, as far as it seems, because it looks like Eastern Europe, Russia sides are kind of pushing it out mainly, and then you're gonna have just random guys as well jumping on it because they're seeing the money to be made. So yeah, you'll probably only really be hearing about the huge one, the big ones in the news, because smaller ones they probably won't even tell, because that shit can affect your stock price or whatever. So I said ransomware attacks are not new. The money at stake has changed drastically. Well, even with like fucking ransomware, like you had Boris Johnson's fucking email password. No, that like Boris Johnson's phone number was like on his website or something for years, and like some of them email passwords that they've had for like their accounts on like government systems have been basic as hell, and people have just got in through that. It's funny as hell, man. It's like all that so-called defense is a paper tiger, man. It's not real. So yeah, ransomware attacks are not new. The money at stake has changed drastically, however, inflating from thousands to millions of dollars, and the targets are more sophisticated as well. The increasing number of companies connecting their systems and adding more remote access points, along with things like the widespread use of Bitcoin, have widened the pool of targets. Cybercriminals once focused on small companies and individuals, but have made headlines this year for attacks on higher profile victims. Now you've got ransomware affecting whole corporate networks, interrupting critical national function, causing disruption in people's lives. It's really become a national security, public health and safety threat. Yeah, funny as hell. And they mentioned like Bitcoin as well. So this is yet another reason why they can be like, okay, look, the kind of, the wild west of crypto with Bitcoin and whatnot, this can't be allowed. We're going to have to, standardize it. We're going to have to regulate it and put underneath the US banner, crypto, where it'll be like, okay, you can utilize these systems, but have to use it by these means. And then it's more groundwork being laid for the mark, man, for that implantable chip that goes under the skin. But yeah, it's hilarious that all of a sudden like the cyber attacks just popped off, and they just had like two huge successes, man, on like fuel and food, which are like core essentials to society. If that shit's missing, it's getting aggy. It's getting peak out here. That's people are going buck wild. And even if the supply continues, the price can shoot up as well. Because I think California's still seeing uh price shooting up. The price of gas shooting up, and then there's more incentive to start kicking shit off in the Middle East to try and get control of cheaper fuel. Yeah, it's really common. So the Michael Daniels, CEO, president and CEO of the non-profit group Cyber Threat Alliance. The ransomware industry has grown, but the underlying techniques for gaining access have largely stayed the same. Hackers commonly access company systems through phishing attacks, emails sent to try to trick employees into giving up passwords or access. Yeah, that's how one of them was. I think the Colonial one was like that. Fucking hell. That's funny as hell. Because, yeah, once inside a company's system, ransomware outfits will find critical information and lock it down, then contact a company to demand a ransom for it to be released. Yeah, so this thing, is on the scale now where it's going to be affecting, like, big, core systems to how society runs. And then as such, that's gonna make people are gonna get a rag. People are gonna be a mess, and they're gonna be like, yo, shit. It's gonna put weight behind, bringing in further regulation, or saying like, okay, look, we're gonna have to systematize we're gonna have to nationalize some of these systems to an extent. And that's like how China kind of runs their shit, where they pretend you're allowed to kind of do your own thing, but you got to keep them sweet, and even then you got to keep your money in China. First Thessalonians 5:1. But of the times and seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you, for yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. Yeah, for the brothers, for those, the hope for the elect, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, don't need to be reminded of the time we're in, because we can observe, we can see, for shit to be popping off like this, is what's being observed, is prophecies flying off left, right, and center. It's clear and evident, we're in a time of the end. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. Yeah, just like with those hacks. It's like, it said, like, people missing school, missing chemo, missing whatever. Them hacks happen. It's unexpected. Then it's like all your plans are in disarray. You get all kinds of fruit. And that's the thing, is with a lot of these like circumstances that go down, people will be surprised. Like if a famine happens, people will be like, oh my god, why is there a food shortage? Why are the prices going up? Bruv, there's been from like years back famines that were happening. You had the locusts going absolutely buck wild throughout like 2019, 2020 in Africa, destroying hella crops. Like you had fucking super swarms of them doing it. You had in 2020 a lot of shortages because of the C-19 lockdown situation. A lot of like food places didn't manage to get as much of the harvest from back then, and these things knock on over time to where the impact increases. And then it's like, yeah, it's why is it a marvel that now these things are happening? But people, they don't pay attention to the news, they don't watch, they don't know what the hell's going on, and the spirit's not dealing with them to see these things. They're being blinded. This is what verse 4. But ye brethren are not in darkness, that the day should overtake you as a thief. Ye are all children of light and the children of the day. We are not of the night nor of darkness. Therefore let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. Yeah, watch and be sober. That's what's put onto, you know, the men of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, where it's like you watch, and because you can see what's going down. There's, well, the opposite of that is is 2 Peter 3:3. It says, and knowing this first, there shall come in the last days scoffers, walking after their own lusts, and saying, where is the promise of his coming? For since the fathers fell asleep, all things continue as they were from the beginning of creation. You got guys that are just looking at things like, what's going on? Like, you men are still teaching that Bible and that. Yeah, just no, but okay, when the pandemic kicked off, everyone was losing their shit. Everyone was like, oh shit, but then, hey, for the men of the Lord, it was just like, hey, yeah, bro, for Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, that time, hey, we're in the end. It's clear and evident. But yeah, that's the difference. Is these guys are, they're blinded, so they're just trying to 6. So I'm looking at these guys are just trying to maintain their lifestyle. Isaiah 6:8 says, also I heard the voice of the Lord saying, whom shall I send, and whom will go for us? Then said I, here am I, send me. And he said, go and tell this people, hear ye indeed, but understand not, and see ye indeed, but perceive not. Make the heart of this people fat, and make their ears heavy, and shut their eyes, lest they see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and understand with their heart, and convert and be healed. Yeah, so that's there's been an angel tasked with the duty of blinding and deafening, the people, until the time of the end, man, until it becomes clear that it's well, I will say, this is what then said I, Lord, how long? And he answered, until the cities be wasted without inhabitant, and the houses without man, and the Lord and the land be utterly utterly desolate, and the Lord hath removed man far away, and there be a great forsaking in the midst of the land. Yeah, so till the cities be wasted, till the destruction touch this place, these guys are gonna remain blinded. Because when that's it, it's like once, hey, the destruction's hit, and especially once some nukes are flying, then it's like, what, Yahweh makes a return, every eye is gonna see him, man. Everyone's gonna know, like, yo, these men were telling the truth the whole time. Yahweh, who you call Jesus, is a so-called black man. And it's the terror of that moment. Hey, it's gonna be legendary, man. It's gonna be legendary. That's the thing. But that's why these guys have been blinded, man. You can tell them, you can bend yourself into a pretzel, breaking this truth down to them. But if they've been blinded and deafened, it's a wrap, man. They can't get it. But yeah, I'll leave it there. Shalom, Yahweh Shem Rashab, Hashem Rakak Kadash Bakata. Shalom.